Welcome back to OopsSpeak, the channel where your English gets better and your heartbeat gets faster. Tonight, you're stepping into one of the most gripping, immersive English listening experiences ever created. The Ravenshaw Mansion Murder Unsolved Mystery Experience, a full cinematic listening story designed to keep you awake, alert, and absolutely hooked. Before we begin, a warning. What you're about to hear is not a simple story. It's a puzzle, a dark maze filled with lies, secrets, and a killer hiding in plain sight. Your mission is simple. Listen carefully, follow every detail, and try to solve the murder before the characters do. No subtitles, no translations, just pure English immersion. If you're ready, take a deep breath, because this night, no one inside Ravenshaw Mansion sleeps alive without answers. Let's begin. Scene 1. The stormy road thunder cracked across the sky like the earth itself was splitting open. Alina Ward, 26 years old, wrapped her coat tighter as she climbed the hill toward Ravenshaw Mansion, her boots sinking into the wet mud. The wind whipped her hair violently, but she kept walking faster and faster, clutching the letter that had changed her entire week. The paper was soaked from the rain, but she could still read the message burned into her mind. I know your secret. Come to Ravenshaw Mansion tonight. Midnight. Come alone. No signature, no explanation, no mercy. As an online true crime creator, she had seen thousands of crimes, but she had never been the target of one. Her breath turned shaky as she reached the enormous iron gates. They creaked open by themselves. A terrible omen. Scene 2. The mansion awaits. Ravenshaw Mansion was far bigger than the photos she had seen online. Massive stone walls, broken statues, tall windows glowing faintly like dying eyes. Lightning flashed, illuminating 10 silhouettes standing in the doorway. She wasn't alone. When she stepped inside, the door slammed shut behind her. Everyone turned to look. A tall woman in a sharp suit stepped forward. Lydia Crow, lawyer, cold, intelligent, dangerous. Lydia, you got the letter too, I assume. Alina nodded. Alina, you all received the same threat. A man with silver hair and a stern face answered. Victor N., former police officer. Victor, we all did. And every one of us has a secret worth exposing. A younger girl with nervous eyes stood behind him. Naomi Quinn, psychology student. Naomi, who brought us here, and what do they want? Before anyone spoke, the lights dimmed. A speaker crackled alive in the corner. Everyone froze. Scene 3. The voice of the host, a distorted, almost metallic voice echoed through the hall. Welcome to the final night of your lives. Gasps, muffled screams. A few steps backward. Each of you carries a secret, a truth so heavy it could destroy your life. Alina swallowed hard. Tonight, one of you will die, and one of you is the killer. A dead silence fell over the room. Your only chance to survive is to uncover the murderer before they strike again. The lights shut off instantly. Total darkness. Then a scream, a crash, a sickening, heavy thud. Scene for the first death. When the lights flickered back on, a man lay dead at the bottom of the stairs. The mansion's supposed host. His neck was twisted unnaturally. Blood trickled from his mouth. Felix Arden, the businessman, shouted, "Felix, did he fall?" Victor knelt beside the corpse, his face turning pale. Victor? No. Someone strangled him before the fall. Panic erupted. Samuel Gray, journalist, took out his recorder. Samuel, the killer, made their first move. But why murder the host? Lydia crossed her arms. Lydia, because the host wasn't the killer. He was just another victim. Elena looked around the mansion, heart racing. 11 strangers, 1 murderer, no way out. Scene 5, the secrets begin. They gathered in the grand dining room. The storm outside grew louder, hammering the windows like fists demanding to enter. Elena noticed something strange. Every guest avoided eye contact. Every guest had fear in their breath, and every guest hid something dark. Victor stood at the head of the long wooden table. Victor, we stay together. No one leaves this room alone. We share everything we know. Lydia raised an eyebrow. Lydia, and who made you the leader? Victor, I'm the only trained investigator here. Samuel leaned forward. Samuel, you're also the one most capable of killing someone quietly. Victor glared. Victor, are you accusing me? Naomi, maybe we should all calm down, but she was too late. The lights flickered again. Elena felt her skin crawl. Someone whispered behind her, "You're next." She turned. No one was there. Scene 6, the mansion closes and the doors were locked. The windows were bolted shut. The phones had no signal. They were trapped. Rosemary Flint, the elderly historian, tapped her cane on the floor. Rosemary, this mansion has a violent history. Death follows this house like a shadow. Elena shivered. Elena, what do you mean? Rosemary exhaled deeply. Rosemary, 5 murders, all unsolved, all inside this mansion. Everyone fell silent. Tessa Monroe, the nanny, whispered, "Tessa," and now a 6th. Lightning flashed again, somewhere upstairs. A door slammed hard. Scene 7. The search begins. The group stood frozen, staring at the ceiling as the sound of that distant door echoed through the mansion. The storm outside roared louder, shaking the windows as if nature itself wanted to warn them. Elena's heartbeat quickened. Someone was upstairs. Someone who shouldn't be. Victor turned sharply toward the staircase. Victor, we need to check that floor, Lydia scoffed. Lydia, so we're splitting up, just like the movies. Brilliant idea. Felix raised both hands defensively. Felix, I'm not going anywhere near upstairs. People are dying, and I value my life. Naomi, trembling, whispered, Naomi, we can't stay here either. The killer could come back. Elena inhaled slowly. She had filmed enough criminal cases to know one truth. The most dangerous place was staying in one spot. She stepped forward. Elena, I'll go. Everyone stared at her, shocked. Samuel narrowed his eyes thoughtfully. Samuel, you're either incredibly brave or you're hiding something too. Elena ignored him. Victor nodded. Victor, I'll go with her. Lydia rolled her eyes. Lydia, of course you will, but she stood up anyway. Lydia, I'm not letting you to go alone. If one of you dies, I want to know who killed whom. Reluctantly, Felix and Naomi followed. Tessa stayed at the table, gripping her necklace so tightly her knuckles turned white. Rosemary simply watched them with unreadable eyes. Scene 8. The hallway of echoes. They climbed the staircase slowly, each step creaking beneath their feet. The hallway above stretched long and narrow, lined with portraits of long-dead family members. Their painted eyes watched silently, almost expectantly. Alina felt a cold breeze graze her cheek. She whispered, "Alina, did you feel that?" But before anyone could answer, slammed. A door at the end of the hallway slammed shut violently, as if someone wanted them to know exactly where to go. Felix jumped back. Felix. Nope, absolutely not. This is where I die. Goodbye. Victor grabbed his arm. Victor, no one goes back alone. Lydia pushed open the nearest door. Inside was a dim room filled with dusty furniture covered in white cloth. Nothing unusual. Naomi pointed to footprints in the dust-fresh ones. Naomi, someone was here recently. Victor crouched down. Victor, a man's shoe. Heavy tread. Could be the killer. Elena's eyes followed the prints as they trailed toward a tall wardrobe. Her breath caught. The wardrobe door was slightly open. A tiny sliver, barely noticeable. She slowly stepped toward it. Every instinct screamed run, but something stronger, curiosity, fear, duty, pulled her closer. She reached for the handle. The wardrobe burst open with a violent crash. Lydia screamed. Alina stumbled back, and out fell a man, swung forward by gravity, collapsing onto the floor with a thud. Naomi shrieked. Felix hid behind Victor. Elena froze, because the man was alive. Barely seen 9. The man in the wardrobe, the man coughed, gasping for air as he tried to sit up. Talina recognized him immediately from online news archives. Arthur Kane, missing for 7 months. Last seen near Bonshire. He looked weak, starved, terrified, as if he had lived in darkness for weeks. Victor knelt beside him. Victor, Arthur, can you hear me? Did someone keep you here? Arthur's eyes darted around wildly. Arthur whispering, "You have to. Leave. You're all in danger." Felix shook his head frantically. "Felix, we know that man. Tell us something we don't know." Arthur grabbed Elena's wrist with surprising strength. "Arthur, you shouldn't have come. They're watching. They're always watching." Elena's pulse spiked. "Elena, who is watching?" Arthur's breath trembled. "Arthur, the killer. The killer is one of you." Everyone stared at each other. Suspicion rippled through the hallway like electricity. Lydia stepped closer. "Lydia, Arthur, who locked you here? Tell us." Arthur squeezed his eyes shut, shaking violently. "Arthur, I can't. They said they'd kill me if I spoke." Suddenly, his breathing became erratic. Naomi panicked. "Naomi, he needs medical attention." Victor tried to calm him, but Arthur only kept whispering the same words. "One of you. One of you. One of you." And then his head fell forward. His body went limp. Naomi covered her mouth with her hand. "Naomi, he's dead." Felix yelled, "Felix, that's 2 dead bodies. This killer works fast." Elena stared at Arthur's lifeless face. Someone had locked this man in the mansion. Someone in their group. And that same person had silenced him forever. Scene 10. The hidden message. Victor searched Arthur's pockets. Nothing. But Elena's sharp eyes caught something small tucked inside the wardrobe, almost invisible. A piece of paper wedged in the corner. She pulled it out, unfolding it slowly. A single sentence written in red ink. "The truth is never where you expect it." Lydia read over her shoulder. "Lydia, and what is that supposed to mean?" Felix backed away. "Felix, nope. No riddles. I didn't sign up for riddles. Murder, fine. But riddles? Absolutely not." Alina didn't laugh. This message wasn't random. It was a warning, a clue, or a threat. Victor stared at the note. "Victor, whoever wrote this wants us confused," Naomi added. "Naomi, or they want us to think, to mislead us." All the lights in the hallway flickered. Dim, dim. Then darkness. Alina felt someone grab her arm in the pitch black. She froze. "Alina, who's there?" A whisper brushed her ear. "It's starting." The lights snapped back on. Everyone stood exactly where they had been, except one person. Samuel Gray was gone. Scene 11. The vanishing journalist. Naomi gasped. "Naomi, he was right next to me. How did he disappear?" Victor scanned the hallway. "Victor, there's a hidden door nearby." There must be. Elena remembered something. On her way in, she had seen strange gaps in the walls, too perfectly shaped. She began tapping the wall panels one by one. Tap, 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 hollow. Lydia raised both eyebrows. "Lydia, well, that's dramatic." Victor pushed the panel, and a thin vertical passage revealed itself behind the wall, a secret hallway. Elena's breath trembled. This mansion was full of secrets, and someone who knew every corner of it was hunting them. Scene 12. Into the hidden passage. Felix refused. "Felix, absolutely not. Hidden hallways are where dumb horror characters die." Lydia pushed him. "Lydia, congratulations, you're one of them." They stepped inside the narrow passage. It smelled of mold, dust, and something metallic. Blood. Old or new, she couldn't tell. Victor whispered. "Victor, stay close." The hallway twisted sharply. Then they found it. Naomi screamed. Samuel's recorder lay on the ground, smashed. Beside it, a smear of blood leading deeper into the darkness. Elena whispered, "Elena, he's still alive. He has to be." Lydia picked up the recorder. The last audio file wasn't fully destroyed. She pressed play. Samuel's panicked voice echoed through the passage. "Someone is behind me. I think they followed us upstairs. If I don't make it, the person you're looking for is." The audio cut abruptly with a sickening crunch. Felix stepped back. "Felix, no. Nope. I'm going home. I don't care if the doors are locked. I'll chew through the windows." Elena clenched her fists. Samuel had tried to reveal the killer. He had died for it. She whispered, "Elena, we have to keep going." Victor nodded. "Victor, we do. Or the killer strikes again." Detective Hale stepped back from the window as the wind pushed against it, rattling the old wooden frame. Somewhere outside, a dog barked sharp, frantic, then suddenly silent. He hated that kind of silence. It always meant something was watching. He turned to Mrs. Alden, who still stood near the doorway, twisting her hands nervously. "Did Professor Alden have any enemies?" Hale asked. She hesitated. Everyone admired him, but there were disagreements. With who? A student. Or maybe several students. She exhaled shakily, but there was one in particular. Hale waited. Elias Rowan Hale took out his notebook. Why him? She swallowed. He became obsessed with one of the professor's research topics. Something about linguistic resonance and secret messages hidden inside ancient texts. She shook her head as if trying to shake off a memory. My husband said Elias took it too seriously. Hale frowned. How serious are we talking? He claimed the professor stole something from him, and 2 nights ago she paused. He showed up here, banging on the door, yelling that he needed to finish what he started. Hale's jaw tightened. What exactly was he trying to finish? Mrs. Alden looked down. I don't know, but my husband looked terrified when he heard Elias's voice. A floorboard somewhere in the house creaked slow, heavy, deliberate. They both froze. Hale raised one hand, signaling her to stay silent. He listened. Another creak. Above them, someone was upstairs. He mouthed, "Stay here." He moved quietly toward the staircase, stepping around the squeaky planks he noticed earlier. The house seemed to breathe with him long, slow exhalations of old wood and shifting shadows. When he reached the top of the stairs, the hallway stretched into darkness. The single light bulb flickered weakly. Then he saw it, a shadow, at the far end of the hall, still waiting. Police Hal said firmly, "Show yourself." The shadow didn't move. Hal stepped closer, one hand on his holster. Final warning. He flipped the hallway light switch. The light stuttered, flickered, died. A cold breath passed the back of his neck. Someone whispered right beside him. He shouldn't have opened the book. Hale spun around, weapon drawn, but no one was there. Only the darkness and the sound of footsteps running fast down the stairs. Hale sprinted toward the staircase, his footsteps pounding against the old wooden floor. Whoever was in the house was too fast to be Mrs. Alden, and too controlled to be panicking. He heard the rapid footsteps descending the stairs, then a sharp thud as something slammed into a wall. By the time Hale reached the bottom, the front door was wide open, letting the cold night air flood into the house. Branches rustled outside, swaying violently, as if something nor someone had pushed through them in a rush. Mrs. Alden stood frozen near the living room, her eyes wide. Detective, was someone up there? Hal scanned the darkness outside. Yes, and they were watching us the whole time. He stepped outside, the beam of his flashlight slicing through the overgrown front yard. The damp ground showed footprints, fresh ones leading away from the porch. Bare footprints. Not shoes. He crouched to inspect them. Size average. Weight medium, stride fast. running. But the strangest part wasn't the prints themselves. It was that they glowed faintly in the dark. Not brightly, but enough that the edges shimmered like pale blue dust. Mrs. Alden came to stand behind him. What is that? I don't know, Hale muttered. But your husband's research might have been more than academic. A sudden crack split the night. A twig snapping, Hale's flashlight whipped toward the tree line. Nothing. Silence. Then a whisper drifted through the trees. He read the wrong passage. Hale stood abruptly. Mrs. Alden, get inside. Lock everything. Detective. What's happening? Someone is trying to recreate your husband's research or stop it, or Hale didn't finish. He didn't know how to finish. He shut the door behind her and took a step off the porch, following the glowing footprints as they continued across the yard. Toward the forest behind the house. That's when his phone buzzed. Unknown number. Hale answered cautiously. Detective Hale, a slow, cracking breath came through the speaker, then a low voice. He opened the text, Detective. Now he's not alone anymore. Hale's blood ran cold. Who is this? More breathing. A rasp. Then, you should have come sooner. The call cut off. Hale stared at the forest. The footprints led straight into it. And farther ahead, something faint moved between the trees. Not running now, waiting, watching. Detective Hale stepped into the forest, the cold air instantly thicker, heavier like the trees themselves were holding their breath. His flashlight beams swayed across branches, twisted like skeletal hands. The glowing footprints pulsed faintly along the ground, leading deeper into the darkness. Each one fading slowly behind him, as if the forest was swallowing their trail. But the strangest part wasn't the footprints. It was the sound. A low hum, almost musical, almost alive, drifting from somewhere far ahead. It rose and fell rhythmically, like chanting, but too faint to understand. Hal tightened his grip on the flashlight. If someone's out there, come out slowly. Silence. Then a laugh, soft, echoing. Not from one place, everywhere. Hale froze. His breath fogged in the cold air. All right, he whispered. Let's see what you are. He moved forward, leaves crunching under his boots. The hum grew clearer, swirling around him, threading through the trees. As he walked deeper, the trees began to change. Their bark was carved with strange symbol spirals, geometric shapes, interlocking runes similar to the ones in the book on Alden's desk. And the farther he went, the warmer the air felt, like he was stepping into a different world. Suddenly, the glowing footprints stopped at a large tree with a hollowed-out opening, almost like a doorway burned into the trunk. Hale raised his light. Inside the hollow stood a man, barefoot, shirt ripped, eyes wide and unfocused. His skin flickered with that same faint blue glow around the veins. Sir Hale stepped closer. Are you injured? The man didn't blink, didn't move. He whispered. The book wasn't his. It called to him. We tried to keep him away. Hale's heart kicked harder. Who's we? The man finally turned his head slowly, like it took immense effort. His pupils were dilated completely, drowning his irises in black. We are the voices he heard. Before Hale could respond, the man lurched forward out of the tree and collapsed onto him, gripping Hale's jacket with trembling hands. He woke something up. A breath rattled in his throat as he forced out the final words. And now it wants a new host. The forest suddenly erupted with noise. Branches snapped. Leaves rustled. Something sprinted behind Hale fast too fast for a human. The chanting hum rose to a roar, circling them like a storm. Hale dragged the man upright. We need to go. Now, can you walk? The man didn't answer. Then Hale saw it, a shadow moving between the trees. Tall, wrongly shaped, arms too long. Its head cocked unnaturally to the side, and its eyes glowed the same faint blue. Stay behind me, Hale whispered, pulling the man toward the trail. The shadow stepped closer, closer, until it stopped just at the edge of the beam of Hale's flashlight, and smiled, a wide, unnatural, stretching smile that split far too high toward the eyes. The whispering in the trees rose into a frenzy. Hale lifted his voice, steady but shaking. What do you want? The entity leaned forward, the smile widening. Another reader. The forest lights blinked out. Darkness swallowed them whole. The forest went silent. Too silent. Detective Hale felt the air shift cold. Heavy, unnatural, the glowing footprints stopped at a massive tree, and the shadow stood waiting. It tilted its head. A smile split across its face wrong. Too wide. He read the book. It whispered. Now it needs another reader. Hale stepped back, gripping his flashlight. I'm not joining your story. The creature's smile widened. The ground trembled. Blue light cracked through the soil like lightning, pulling toward the tree, toward Hale, but suddenly the missing man staggered forward, pushing Hale aside. Take me, he choked. I started this. I'll finish it. The creature studied him, then nodded once. A burst of blue light swallowed the man whole, a flash silence, and the forest returned to normal, as if nothing had happened. Hale looked down. At his feet lay the book. Its cover glowed faintly, like it was breathing. The first line shifted across the page. The end. Until you read again, Hale exhaled slowly. This, he whispered, is only the beginning.